My point is we're embarrassed about things we should be proud of and proud of things we should be embarrassed about.
Jerry Seinfeld dropping some absolute wisdom in a hilarious way to woke students at his Duke University commencement speech. Welcome back to the JP Reacts channel, my beautiful freedom-loving friend, where we like to call out the lies, hypocrisy, and corruption of tyrants and Satan, shine the light of awareness on woke absurdities, and highlight the amazing work of other freedom fighters because truth conquers. So, hot off the presses, Jerry Seinfeld, famous comedian, you know who he is, delivered a commencement speech at Duke University. Now, what we're not going to cover is the small minority radicalized Hamas-backing protesters that walked out and, had their flags because Jerry Seinfeld's Jewish. Like, what the hell? How are people so brain dead that they're doing that? I don't know. We're not covering that. We're covering him dropping actual wisdom. It's amazing. And by the way, he's funny all the way through. This would be a tough gig to be funny at. He succeeded at being funny, but he's dropping wisdom that I think is not only worth just hearing and taking in, but it's also wisdom that I think woke students need to hear the most. So, without further ado, let's check out some of the highlights from Seinfeld's commencement speech. See if you and I can learn anything.
Privilege is a word that has taken quite a beating lately. Privilege today seems to be the worst thing you can have. I would like to take a moment to defend it. Again, a lot of you are thinking, I can't believe they invited this guy. Too late. I say, use your privilege. I grew up a Jewish boy from New York. That is a privilege if you want to be a comedian.
By the way, he had already witnessed the radical protesters walking out, and he's just standing his ground real firmly, like he's very much a seasoned professional. That fact that's him making this look easy, it's not lost on me. It takes a lot of seasoning to do that after radicalized hecklers.
Thanks. If I messed up a funny story around my relatives, they would go, that's not how you tell that joke. The prostitute has to be behind the drapes when the wife comes in. You went to Duke. That is an unbelievable privilege. I now have an honorary doctorate of humane letters degree from Duke University. And if I can figure out a way to use that, I will. I haven't figured anything out yet.
Always wondering about those honorary doctors. I think even Biden has an honorary doctorate. It's like, yeah, I'm going to open a medical practice now because I don't know, they identify me as a doctor, so I'll do some knee surgery.
I think it's pretty much as useful in real life as this outfit I'm wearing. But so what? I'll take it. My point is we're embarrassed about things we should be proud of and proud of things we should be embarrassed about.
To name a few things we should be proud of that we're embarrassed about. He's talking about privilege, opportunities. And by the way, how about our merit-based achievements? Let's be proud of them instead of embarrassed by them by chalking those up to privilege. It's like, that's achievement, not privilege. And even if it is privilege, count your blessings. But then things we should be embarrassed by that we're proud of in our society. How about identifying with what your crotch is? Like, yeah, I am so proud that this is the crotch I just constructed. Like, that's like, having like, dude, I have bowel movements in my bio. That's part of your physiology or your altered physiology. Very interesting, his point about we should be proud of things that we're embarrassed by oftentimes, and we're actually embarrassed by things we should be proud of. That is exquisitely insightful. Now, to me, Seinfeld is absolutely on fire with his wisdom, and I love the comedy with it. And we'll get back to Seinfeld in just a second, but first, here's a message from a very special friend of mine.
Hi! Real men protect their families, and part of that means that you are responsible for your family's important documents and passwords. Because you can't trust normal cloud storage services. This hole is where I've stored all my passwords and documents. But it unfortunately proved to not be very weatherproof. Everything got ruined. But luckily now there's Bunker. The Bunker app provides easy-to-use, affordable, bank-level security for all your passwords, important documents, and private messaging. Now, I don't trust anyone, including the government, big tech, the moon landing, and central banks. But Bunker has earned my trust. Did you know passwords continue to be the leading vector of online crime? But Bunker protects you from that. And secure encrypted cloud storage eliminates other attack vectors. And it provides secure, free private messaging. when you find out both Tucker Carlson and RFK Jr. reported that their Signal accounts were spied on, and then you find out the new radical CEO of NPR is on the board of Signal and has close ties to the CIA, you'll be even more grateful for Bunker. With Bunker, wherever you go, you take everything with you that's important to you in a way that's more secure than my bunker in my backyard. Quit being an irresponsible nut job, go to the App Store and download bunker.life now. Protect what's most important to those who are most important to you and download bunker.life right now. Unless you want complete totalitarian control.
Wow, Don's looking pretty good nowadays. Now back to Seinfeld.
When I was writing my TV series, thanks. What a crowd. So on my staff in the 90s, we had a lot of Harvard guys. They were fantastic, but I could never understand why these guys were so embarrassed about being from Harvard. They would never talk about it. They would never mention it. I'm not talking about Harvard now. I'm talking about the way it used to be. You're never going to believe this. Harvard used to be a great place to go to school. Now it's Duke. You didn't fake your fabulous education. You earned it. Be proud of it. Don't just drop it on people right before you serve in pickleball. Okay, Duke 24 coming at you. But if it comes up, if someone asks, don't say it looking down, stubbing your toe in the dirt. When someone asks, where'd you go to school? You say, I went to Duke. Watch them take that uncomfortable, hard swallow.
I didn't go to college. I'm proud of that.
AI, on the other hand, is the most embarrassing thing we've ever invented in mankind's time on Earth.
AI?
Oh, so you can't do the work. Is that what you're telling me? You can't figure it out? This seems to be the justification of AI. I couldn't do it. This is something to be embarrassed about. The ad campaign for ChatGPT should be the opposite of Nike. You just can't do it. Making fake brains is risky. Frankenstein proved that. He was so dumb, he thought a monster needed a sport jacket. It's not a wine tasting. We're terrorizing villagers. No one's going to tell you, I'm sorry, Mr. Stein, it's jackets only this evening. What I like is we're smart enough to invent AI, dumb enough to need it, and still so stupid we can't figure out if we did the right thing.
I think that is an exquisitely insightful perspective about AI, obviously delivered comedically, masterfully.
Making work easier, this is the problem. So obsessed with getting to the answer, completing the project, producing a result, which are all valid things, but not where the richness of the human experience lies. The only two things you ever need to pay attention to in life are work and love. Things that are self-justified in the experience, and who cares about the result? Stop rushing to what you perceive as some valuable endpoint. Learn to enjoy the expenditure of energy that may or may not be on the correct path.
I think that's beautifully said, and it's another variation of enjoy the journey. Don't make it about the destination. Let it be about the journey, because you can get joy and fulfillment in the process rather than making some sort of contract with yourself. I can only be happy when I reach this destination. And by the way, happiness is usually not there because it's in the space between where you are and where you want to go. You can pick those happy flowers if you're present enough and realize enjoying the journey is important. One last little insight from Jerry Seinfeld. I love this one a lot, potentially the most. Let's check it out.
Now, if you have been at this amazing place for 4 years and still have no idea what you like, what you're interested in, or what you want to do in life, you are the luckiest ones here. Those of you that think you know what you want to do are very likely wrong, and perhaps even overestimating your ability to do it. You have convinced yourself that you know who you are and what's going on in the world. You don't know either. The less secure and confident you feel in the direction, the more surprises and excitement you will have in store.
There's a lot of wisdom in insecurity. There's not necessarily a lot of wisdom in a sense of certainty. If we can trade our sense of certainty, that just makes us feel safe. It's part of our stress response. Let me feel certain, therefore my brain feels as though I'm in complete control. If we can trade the certainty for embracing uncertainty, curiosity, we get to expand beyond the limits that we impose on ourselves. And nonetheless, I love the way Seinfeld delivers this.
That's good. So the better the job you've done in finding a path for yourself, the more boring and predictable your life is going to be. If you're sitting here today completely confused, feeling lost, adrift, and totally abandoned, you might even be a G. I say, congratulations. You win the Duke Commencement Ceremonies of 2024. You are about to go on a hell of a ride.
I love this. Hats off to Jerry Seinfeld. He's certainly a legendary comedian. And with many legendary comedians, there's also a lot of genius and intelligence that flows through him. And I love how a lot of this wisdom of his comes out in a very pure form. And of course, it was garnished with comedy, which I appreciate, I love. But also, I think it was wisdom facing first and foremost. This is something I think young people need to hear. And honestly, old farts like myself and maybe you, we can never be reminded of these life principles too many times. Trade certainty for uncertainty. Yes, it feels uncomfortable to be uncertain, but it's actually a good thing. Be proud of the things that society tells us we should be embarrassed by, and embrace your privilege. In my opinion, that's like counting your blessings. I love it. So hats off to Jerry Seinfeld, nonetheless, delivering this amazing commencement address in the face of adversity with the radical protesters that I didn't even show because screw them. With that said, let me know what your thoughts are on Seinfeld's wisdom in the comments below, and I'll look forward to seeing you on our next video. But until then, stay free.